This week, we're going to talk about how to locate calcified canals in single-rooted teeth. If we haven't met before, my name is Siju Jacob. I've been practicing clinical endodontics for more than 25 years. In addition to private practice, I've also been teaching dentists clinical endodontics, and this is something that I've been doing for more than 2 decades. I've mentored thousands of dentists at various stages in their endodontic careers. By the way, if you are a dental practitioner looking to improve your clinical endodontic skills, I've put together something especially for you. It's called Everyday Endo. It's my own private community. I've put the link in the description below to have a look. Locating calcified canals in clinical practice can be extremely challenging, and this week I'm going to share with you some of the tips and tricks that you can use that can make locating calcified canals a lot easier. We are going to talk about single-rooted tooth. When we say single-rooted tooth, we are talking about mostly anteriors as well as premolars. The following are some of the techniques that can help you locate calcified canals. These include radiographs, centricity, color changes, looking lingually for maxillary incisors, and macroscopic and fisheye view. Let's look at each of these in detail. First, let's look at radiographs. Radiographs used to be the gold standard which helped us locate hard to locate canals, and we sometimes use this in everyday clinical practice. This is an example of how you can use radiographs. So this is a case where somebody had done an access in a mandibular incisor, could not locate the canals, and then referred the case to me. When I inserted a Munz burr into the direction in which the previous clinician has drilled and then exposed the radiograph, I can clearly see that the direction of the burr is not in the center of the long axis of the tooth. So what I need to do in this case is reorient the burr more towards the central and the long axis of the tooth so that I can correct my direction in relation to the long axis of the tooth, and which is what I did, and that helps me locate the canal. So this is just a simple illustration on how you can use radiographs as a clue to locate calcified canals. The next technique that can help you locate calcified canals is observing color changes within the tooth. When we say color changes, we are talking about the difference in color between the calcified portion of the canal and the adjacent monochromatic dentin. So we can use color changes as a guide to locate calcified canals. Let's have a look at how this is done. This is a maxillary incisor. You can see the canal is completely calcified. When you look at the adjacent teeth, you can clearly see a canal, whereas there is no trace of a canal in this tooth. So when we remove the temporary filling that a previous clinician has done, we can clearly see the differentiation between the calcified part of the tooth here. This is where the canal used to be, and now it's calcified, and the adjacent monochromatic dentin, which is more whiter in color. So what we should do in this case is do not drill in the whiter part here, because that will lead us to perforation, and we avoid drilling on this whiter part also. So when we see a case like this and there is a clear differentiation in color between this part of the tooth and the adjacent monochromatic dentin, we know that if we are drilling down the tooth looking for the calcified part of the canal, we need to look in this part and not drill on either side on the whitish part of the tooth, which is what we did. We took a Munz burr, drilled down that part of the canal which was calcified, and sure enough, that's where we located the canal. So then you can see there's a canal there, and that's a K file inserted in the canal. So that's an example of how we use color changes as a clue to locate the calcified portion of the canal. Remember that in order to do this predictability, you need a microscope. If you are using a loop, then remember that as you go deeper into the tooth surface, loops do not have coaxial illumination, so it gets a lot more difficult to do this without a surgical microscope. Here's another example where somebody had done the initial access, could not find the canal because the canal was calcified, and you can see the access seems to be skewed in one direction. When we open this tooth, this is what we find. We find the middle portion which is darker in color and the adjacent monochromatic dentin on either side. So once we see a picture like this, we know that we need to drill in the middle part here and not drill on either side, because this is whitish in color. So we stick to the central part, and as we drill down, we see that on the adjacent sides of the central part, these adjacent sides also turn white in color, whereas the only part which remains dark here is the central part of the tooth here, which used to be the calcified portion of the canal at one point in time. So again, we use color changes as a clue. We do not drill here and here. We keep the drilling to just this darkened portion here. So again, as we go down, notice that the darkened portion remains consistent. So we use that color changes to ensure that we drill selectively only in the darkened portion here to eventually land up in the canal here. So that's another example of how we can use color changes to drill down these teeth when looking for calcified canals. And once we locate the canal, it's very easy. The rest of the process is as we usually do in any other teeth. We clean, shave, put some calcium hydroxide, and then obturate the tooth after a couple of weeks once the patient's symptoms have subsided. This is another tooth which is quite similar. You can see the previous dentist had made an access here, couldn't locate the canal. And when we look into this tooth, we see two different areas. Right in the middle of the tooth is a whitish monochromatic dentin, and towards this side is the darkened area. So again, we use this darkened area as a clue to know that we need to drill down in this area and not here, because if you drill down this area, then you will end up in perforation. So we stick to drilling in this area. And as you keep drilling down this particular area, that's exactly where we found the canal here. So you can see that's the canal there, which is consistent with the darkened portion. So we avoid drilling down the whitish area here. So we found the canal, and then as always, we obturate it as usual, because the difficult part is in locating the canal. And that's the post-op. So this is how we started with, and that's how we ended it. So that's another example of how we can use color changes to locate the canal. The next principle we can use is something called law of centricity. What is law of centricity? The structure of roots and the canals are in proportion, which means when you take a radiograph and you see that someone's made an access cavity and filled a part of what looks like a canal, but that filled portion is not in proportion when you look at the tooth as a whole, we can see that it's skewed to one side. So once we see something like this, you know that it breaks what we call the law of centricity. You can use that as a clue to kind of estimate where the calcified part of the canal is. So when we open this tooth, that's exactly what we found. We found some gutta percha. When we remove the gutta percha, we can see bleeding here, which tells us that this is a perforation. And then once you know that that's the perforation, we're looking for something more central in relationship to the tooth as a overall. And then you can see here, that's the calcified portion of the tooth. So we know that we need to drill down this calcified portion, which is what we did. We drilled down there, and that's the canal. So once we know that's the canal, we can seal this perforation with MTA and then fill the actual canal with gutta percha, and that's how the post-op looks like. And the post-op, now you can see the gutta percha in the center of the tooth, and it follows the law of centricity. So that's the gutta percha there, and that's the perforation. If you're wondering what's happened to this tooth, we decided to fill the whole tooth with MTA and then did a surgery, and that's a 2-year recall. You can see the lesions healed up and the tooth seems to be doing pretty well. So that's how we use law of centricity as a tool to locate calcified canals. The next technique that can help us locate calcified canals is sort of specific to maxillary anterior teeth. So when we are looking for canals in maxillary anterior teeth, what we need to understand is 9 times out of 10, when a clinician makes an access cavity, they tend to go more labially rather than lingually. So if you look at this tooth here, a typical scenario like this, where the clinician seems to have made an access in the center of the tooth, but because of the direction in which he or she accesses his tooth with the burr, we can see that they tend to go labially, because most clinicians make an access from the palatal side, and the orientation tends to take them labially rather than lingually or palatally, which is where the canal usually is. So this diagram sort of illustrates what usually happens when a clinician makes an access in a maxillary central incisor. Because clinicians tend to make accesses from the palatal side, the orientation of the burr is usually labial. Well, in reality, the actual orientation of the canal in relationship to the long axis of the tooth is more towards the incisal part of the tooth. So the real access cavity should be along the long axis of the tooth and not from a palatal to labial direction. So when we see these sort of cases, that's what usually happens. Clinicians access this tooth from a palatal direction, and the direction of the burr usually takes them labially, and they end up looking for the canal far too labially, when in reality, the canal is usually palatal to where the previous clinician was looking for the canal. So in this particular case, we need to look for the canal palatally. Looking at this canal here, you can see that there is some color differentiation there, so we can use that color differentiation as well as a tool to look around for the canal there, and that's exactly where we found the canal. Far more palatally compared to where the previous clinician was looking for the canal. And of course, we obturated the tooth, and then when you look at the tooth post-obturation, you can see where the previous clinician was looking for the canal and where the actual canal is. This is very common in maxillary anterior teeth. Here's another case illustrating exactly the same phenomenon. The clinician looks like he or she has done a fairly decent access in the middle of the tooth, but when we look at this tooth, what we see is the access looks like it's in the middle of the tooth, but when we go in there, what we are realizing is that the clinician is looking far too labially compared to where the actual canal is. So when we look at the same axis and we look at this part of the access cavity, which is this part here, you can see that there is clearly a color differentiation between the adjacent monochromatic dentin and the calcified portion of the canal. This whole thing used to be at once upon a time the entire root canal, which is now calcified. So once we know that, we can drill down this calcified portion of the canal, and sure enough, that's where the root canal is. So you can see that's the root canal opening in the middle of the tooth, and this part shows you what used to be the entire pulp or the root canal at one point in time filled with pulp, and now it's calcified, but we found the opening in the middle of that calcified part. So that's an example of how, when we get these cases, we can look for the canal palatal to where the previous clinician was looking for the canal. So once we locate the canal, then yes, we can go in there, clean and shape, and then put calcium hydroxide, and then it takes the usual course of what we do in any endo-treated tooth. Now, the techniques that we described till now are usually enough to help you locate calcified canals in the majority of cases, but there are some cases which do not follow a prescribed norm. So let me show you a case or two where we can employ this macroscopic perspective, which means we are involved deep in the canal under magnification, looking for the canal. We take a pause, come out of magnification, and look at the whole tooth in a macroscopic perspective so that it helps us reorient ourselves as to where we are looking for the canal. So let's take a look at this case where somebody had done the access, couldn't find the canal because, as you can see, there is no trace of any canal. So when we open up this tooth, this is what we see. We see a tooth like this, and traditionally we tend to see that the clinician's been looking labially and there is some sort of a whitish patch here, and this area looks dark. So this tells us that we probably need to drill down the palatal area here. But as we start drilling down the palatal area, something doesn't feel right. Instead of going deeper and locating a calcified portion, what we are seeing is a more glassy kind of surface. So when we encounter this, what we usually do is put a drop of water in the canal, and what that drop of water does is it fills the whole access cavity, and then we look at the whole teeth in totality, and we make an assessment as to how much of thickness is left in this tooth when we consider the tooth as an overall. So when we look at this tooth as a whole, what we are seeing is there's not much of tooth structure left palatally compared to labially. There's a lot of tooth structure left when we look at this tooth from a labiopalatal direction. So if you continue to drill here, then that means you are playing around with very little tooth surface here. So the probability of finding a canal here are not great. So in that case, we use this macroscopic perspective to look at this part of the tooth, and we see that there is actually a darkened area here as well. And then when we look at that area closely under magnification, we can clearly see a dark area going all the way into the root surface. So it is this part of the tooth which used to be the calcified part of the tooth. So we use that as a clue to drill down that darker area, and sure enough, that's where the canal was. That's the calcified part of the canal. So this is an example of how, instead of continuing to look here, it's a good habit to come out of the tooth and have a look at this whole tooth in a macroscopic perspective, so that we reorient ourselves as to where to look for the canal, and then look around for the canal based on the color changes that we see inside. So you can see here, that's where the canal used to be at once upon a time, and that's where we found the opening of the calcified canal. So that's the canal there, and we obturated the tooth, and that's how the post-op looks like. Of course, there are so many other additional tools that we can use, and I will cover many of these in future videos. But for now, I hope that what we discussed till now helps you the next time you get a calcified tooth in your clinical practice. Like I mentioned earlier, if you are a private practitioner looking to improve your clinical endodontic skills, I've put together something specially for you. It's my private community. It's called Everyday Endo. Do check out the link in the description below. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button so that you can get notified every time we upload a new video, which is usually every Saturday. And if you like even more videos that I've already uploaded on this channel, then do check out some of these videos that are coming up over here. I'll see you next week with another video. Till then, take care. Thanks for watching.